Hi, my name is Kristen Drill, and I am one of the 6 occupational therapists that works at Riverbend.
Hi, my name is Brittany Koss. I am the physical therapist assistant that works at Riverbend.
And today we're here to talk to you about OT and PT services in school systems. We'll explain the who, the what, the why, and the how to therapy services in your district. As I mentioned in my intro, there are 6 OTs that work for Riverbend. We are lucky enough to have one physical therapist and one physical therapy assistant that's new to us this year. All of us are considered itinerant employees. That means that we travel to work with the special education students in the member districts who are both in Part C and Part B, meaning that all therapists work with students from birth to age 21 by license. Our license is a little different than a teacher's. We are licensed by the Department of Health, and we're required to hold both national and state licenses. Now, you might be saying, what is an OT, or possibly, what is the difference between an OT and a PT? Occupational therapy is the therapy that is used to create the use of purposeful activity in a person being independent or maintaining the health of that individual through either a physical injury, a cognitive impairment, a psychosocial diagnosis, mental illness, or possibly, and most commonly in the schools, developmental or learning disabilities. The practice includes evaluating, assessing, treating, and consulting on any of those disabilities and how they impact a student in their learning of life activities. Physical therapy, on the other hand, means the evaluation and or treatment of a person by the use of physical measures and therapeutic exercises and procedures with or without devices for the purpose of preventing, correcting, or alleviating a physical disability. Physical therapy includes evaluation as well, but it really focuses on the treatment planning, documentation, performance, measurement, and interpretation of those disabilities through consultation, service, and supervision of personnel. As I mentioned earlier, we work with a variety of students. When a child is under the age of 3, we work with them in their natural environment. That might be the home that they live in, the childcare they attend, or in some cases, childcare has become more popular in grandparents' houses. We go where the student spends the majority of their time, and our focus is working on the activities that happen in their daily routine. When a student is under the age of 3, they're in services called Part C. If a child is between the ages of 3 and 5, they become a Part B student, and those services are provided in a program. The program could be a district preschool, it could also be a community preschool, Head Start, or their childcare. Ideally, the student is practicing and exploring activities with their peers while we're providing the interventions. Then, like we said, we keep working with them all the way through high school. So, school age children are seen in the school building anywhere that they participate in an activity at school. All settings of the school are places where children deserve chances to participate equally in any activity. And then sometimes you'll hear about students who are working on work tasks for their life experiences after high school. We can again work with students during their transition times as they prepare to work in a work environment. Some of you might be familiar with medical OT. You maybe have had a family member participate, or you've heard of someone going to occupational therapy through a clinic. When that occurs, a student needs to have a prescription from a doctor. Those concerns can be related to anything: fine motor, self care, injuries. What's important to know is that just because you participate in outside OT or medical OT, it doesn't mean necessarily that you would go to school based OT or that a school based OT would have some work to do with you. School based occupational therapy is a part of special education, and the student first needs to qualify for a category of special education and then show a need and have a need that can't be met by a team member to have OT be a part of what they do. Some of the reasons we see students include fine motor concerns, that writing, drawing, cutting, coloring, or typing. Sometimes it's about the visual perceptual skills that lead to their ability to do fine motor. How you write within a space, how you align items, where their depth perception is at. Those things carry into your self-help skills. Are you able to feed yourself? Do you have dressing skills? Can you handle the fasteners that are associated with the clothes that you're sent to school in? Then we switch kind of where we are based in. Those are the motor-based concerns, but we also have cognitive and mental health-based concerns that OTs will participate in. We help with self-regulation skills, attention to task, coping skills, environmental modifications, behavioral concerns, task breakdown, and strategies that will help a student stay calm within their school setting. These are just a couple of the tools that you might see an OT carrying around or providing to a classroom as they're working with a student on how to make things work well for them to participate in their class.
Same as occupational therapy. Physical therapy, in terms of outside physical therapy, the student needs a prescription from their doctor based on their diagnosis. Concerns can be related to gross motor skills, restoring physical mobility and functionality, a recent surgical procedure, education on safe practices and exercises to maintain their progress that they've obtained during their treatment there at outside OT. This includes outpatient, home health, and hospital treatments. Just because the student has outside PT, again, they do not need to qualify them for school PT. In terms of school-based physical therapy, students also need to qualify under the special education under one of the 13 disability categories. The student also has to demonstrate a need for PT, just like OT, in gross motor, strength, balance, coordination, their mobility and functionality, safety, their self-cares, and addressing physical challenges that interfere with their education in the least restricted environment. So wanting them to be doing things just like their peers are doing. Reasons that a student may need PT services: they're tripping and falling while navigating their school environment. They have difficulty navigating obstacles like moving around chairs, around tables, bumping into things in the hallway or their peers. They require assistance on stairs or uneven surfaces. They're having trouble walking on the playground or snow, difficulty sitting in a chair. They're leaning side to side or slipping out, or just, having trouble focusing and staying still while sitting in a chair. Safety concerns, they're lacking that safety awareness. Movement appears hesitant, they're clumsy and awkward. Difficulty keeping up with their peers. Again, we want them to have the same access as their peers do. Difficulty opening doors, getting up and down from the floor. They're avoiding playground equipment, and difficulty with self-care. That includes in the bathroom. Some larger pieces of equipment that you may have seen when kids are working with a physical therapist in the schools include standers, gait trainers, reverse walkers, high-low chairs. So being able to get them at those different table levels with one piece of equipment versus several. Rift-in chairs, and then adaptive trikes too. What do services look like? So we have direct services, indirect services, and consultation services. Direct services are face-to-face. That's focusing on the IEP goal. Indirect services can be face-to-face, but can also just be time with a teacher or another IEP team member. Member services, that is attending a meeting to consider whether or not that student may or may not need our services. And then consult services is initiated by a team member as needed, and that's listed on their modifications or accommodations page of their IEP. We work right in the classrooms, the playground, the lunchroom, with staff who see them daily to assure that all the district staff know how to support that student. We support and modify activities to meet and challenge the student to make progress towards meeting their goals. We offer options and activities to help encourage and change more effective positioning, prompting, and practice by the student. Train and guide staff on individual diagnoses, their needs, equipment, and safe handling of students. providing fit, adjusting equipment, checking, specializing of that equipment, making sure it's safe for all the students at all times. Offering recommendations, environmental needs, and safety transportation options. Why are we referred as a related service? So related services means transportation and such development, corrective, and other supportive services as are required to assist a child with a disability to benefit from special education. Related services include PT and OT. In Minnesota, a related service is not a primary special education service. In order for a student to receive occupational therapy or physical therapy, he or she must be identified as a special education student and both demonstrate a need for special education instruction and demonstrate a need for supplementary, complementary support services. These services must relate to primary educational goals. The team must determine that without the expertise of the therapist as a team member, a student cannot achieve the goals and objectives of their IEP. You might ask, how often do we provide services? An IFSP or an IEP team determines the frequency of service. It is based on the student's needs, their goals, the setting that they're in, and other services. Often it is listed as a number of times per year, per month per year. A medical prescription, again, does not need to influence the team's decision. Where could you find an OT or a PT? As you know, we're all around the schools all the time. We're in the hallways, kind of working wherever we can. The entire team has office based out of Riverbend. However, most often we're moving between districts and buildings, meeting students and staff where they are at. In some buildings, OTs have rooms or desk space that they utilize while in the building. PTs, we don't have that, so we kind of share with the OTs. But again, wherever we can see that student, most likely in the classroom. Our team meets weekly to share professional development and learning opportunities, and we kind of change and prepare as upcoming events happen. So Riverbend Education District, as you know, we have several OT staff. Kristen Drill, who presented with me today, Susan Huffman, Katie Parsons, Sarah Ramsley, Abby Schwartz, and Kathy Spear. And then PT, Eileen Campbell, and then myself, PTA, Brittany Koss. You can find our information on our Riverbend website and contact us, whenever you feel necessary. We're always there to help and always available.
Thanks for taking the time to learn about therapies, and we appreciate you being interested in what we do.
Thank you.